May the best man win. How did Babe Ruth do it? He hit monstrous home runs, almost at will, it seemed. But I happen to know that the most amazing thing that he ever did was catch a baseball because of his baseball glove. He had one of those three-fingered giant 5-pound baseball gloves from the old days. And I knew how hard it was because when I was 10 years old and I joined a Little League team, I had one. My dad, forever the bargain seeker, found one at a thrift store for me. So I went out. My Little League team thought it was rather amusing that I had this antique glove. And actually, the coach of the team, Dr. Elkis, refused to have me go out on the field with that glove after a while. But I was career driven, and I knew that one day I would be a star pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds. So I had better get practicing, and I found a great game to play that I played with my friend Joe. Joey and I would be walking home from school, and we played this game called May the Best Man Win. Now, the game went like this. Joey and I would be walking by anything where we could find some projectiles, and like, for example, a Buckeye tree, and Joey would say, Buckeyes and the stop sign. And then we would both say together, and may the best man win. And then we'd each pick up 3 Buckeyes and take turns throwing Buckeyes at the stop sign. Whoever hit the most was the best man. We also tried some variations of that. We would walk by a ginkgo tree. Ginkgos have these really small pellets. They're kind of the size of a prune, and they smell, amazingly enough, I didn't even know this occurred in nature. They smell actually like vomit. And so Joey would, or I would say, ginkgo pellets at Mrs. Friedman's windshield. And we would both take our turns throwing the ginkgo pellets at the windshield. One day we were walking home and we decided to take a detour to Winding Way, which was the backside of Xavier University. And Xavier University was a really cool place for us to go because we could watch in their natural habitat college-style grown-ups. Now, our grown-ups that we were used to, our parents, they would do things like play bridge and fall asleep on Sunday, after reading the New York Times. But these grown-up college students were really amazing because they were dancing and they had music, they threw footballs, and they drove sports cars. So as Joey and I were walking along Winding Way on this 5-foot ledge above the road, we stopped at an Osage orange tree. For people who are not from the East, an Osage orange is about the size of a softball, really big, really heavy. It's green. It kind of looks like a human brain. And when it explodes on impact, this white goo just kind of shoots out everywhere. That's a lot. And so we're standing underneath the Osage orange tree, and up comes a blue sports car. It's a convertible. And Joey says, Osage oranges and the blue convertible, and may the best man win. And I grabbed an Osage orange and I did my patented, I'd been practicing this quite a bit, my high kick before I delivered a beautiful split-fingered fastball. And as I threw the Osage orange and it left my hand, a lot of thoughts really quickly crossed my mind. The first one was that the throw was really very amazing, accurate, had some speed to it, some curve, and if I could have had that be my tryout, I know that I would have been a major leaguer pretty quickly, maybe even, I don't know if it's too soon to say, Hall of Fame. The second thing that went through my mind was that was a really accurate throw and something really terrible is about to happen. The Osage orange hit against the windshield and splattered this white goo everywhere. And then I really got to see another thing that was really different about college-type grown-ups. College-type grown-ups are a lot faster than my parents. And this particular college grown-up did that James Bond thing where he exited his vehicle without even using his door. He screeched to a halt. He leaped over the side and saw us right away because we weren't really that far. and started to chase us. Well, Joey did the smart thing and he hid behind the garage. He took off right away. And I just went for the open field, trying to make as much space as I could between me and the college grown up. I didn't get very far. He grabbed me, he set me down really hard. And then he did another thing, which was unusual, I thought, in my experience with grown-ups, is the language. He said some words that my parents never said. So I'll have to paraphrase here. But he did do the grown-up thing and ask me dumb questions like, "What were you thinking?" And of course, I thought, well, I could answer him and say the truth. And the truth would be, well, you see, I'm about to try out for the Cincinnati Reds, and I thought that the best option for me would be to throw, or not say, George, at your car. But I sort of had the sense that that wasn't exactly the best thing to say, so I just used my stock answer, I don't know. So he asked me my name and my phone number, and for some idiotic reason, I told him the truth. And he sent me home. I ran home as fast as I could. My heart was pumping, racing. I climbed under the bed to do a lot of thinking. I was there for maybe about 10 minutes when the phone rang, and I quickly thought, I have to intercept this. So I ran down to the kitchen. As I got to the kitchen, my mom had the receiver, and she was talking to somebody. So I was in the kitchen. I thought, well, I better do something. Maybe I could set the table early, maybe get some good points. So I set the table as I was kind of listening to this conversation. It wasn't him, but the table was set, and my mother thanked me profusely for that. Maybe an hour later, the phone rang again. I ran to the kitchen. Again, I was beaten out by my mother, who grabbed the phone first. And so I thought, well, I could do some other kind of chore. And I did. And for the next few days, actually, I was doing lots of chores. In fact, my mother, who may have had a little bit of a sarcastic edge, said to me one day, Eugene, I never would have guessed that the canned goods really do look a lot better when they're alphabetized. Yes, I did that. Anyway, Saturday morning came. We had not heard from the college guy at all, and we were heading to the baseball game against the Bond Hill Bluebirds. My dad was taking me, and my dad, when he got to the game, he said, Eugene, I have something for you. I thought, since your mother was telling me how wonderful you've been around the house lately, and also because Dr. Elkas told me that you really do need a new baseball glove, that I'm going to give you this. And he handed me a modern glove, like the kind that everyone had, in the most modern that there was for 1965, not those types that you see in the documentaries about the history of baseball from the 1912 Detroit Tigers, where everyone looks like they're running in, fast motion. So I was so excited, and that was totally an unexpected consequence of my having a short criminal career. And this time, the best man won.